I think it's for me at least. It's like I really see hip hop as like my craft, you know, and the only metric I have to measure whether or not I'm doing something well is like it's all internal. So I feel like my drive is always just like, am I creating enough to what's called am I happy with what I'm creating? Was what I'm creating lazy? You know, am I doing new things? Am I pushing the boundaries? So for at least for me, it's like it's a lot of internal stuff. Just because like, you know, it's cool. I think it's also just like trying to bounce off like seeing my peers release stuff and people still move their own way during COVID, and just trying to figure out how I, Chucky Blk, could fit into the picture. As far as that goes, my transition from just being like a listener into actively wanting to be a part of the culture and moving it is to me it's like I feel like I believe everyone is born with a gift. Like everyone innately is born with a gift, and then it's called it's all about who continues it. You know, I always like would see myself and see a lot of people and be like, oh, they're so naturally gifted and everything like that. And now I feel like those same people are like at the wayside, you know, and what I had was just like perseverance, you know. I was like, there's a certain joy I get within the process, you know. It's like, yes, I would love to be in the pantheon of like musicians that change culture, you know. But part of me is just like, there's like this fun, it's not even fun, it's just like this imperative, you know, to tinker, to figure out these different points. And like there's so much for me, music is so deeply tied to self-discovery, just because like I think of my raps as poetry, you know, and whenever I write poetry, I'm trying to be as honest to the emotion, to the feeling, to the place, the time, whatever I'm trying to conjure at that moment. So so I think how music, especially how hip hop relates to like social change and social justice and social movement, especially with COVID. I think so. The crazy thing about this tape was like, you know, I had been working on this like in December. Like some of like the early raps, some of the early verses were written in December, and there's like it kept on pushing it back. And it's kind of weird because it almost felt like prophetic, you know. I mean, just like so much of like, you know, a lot of the themes are just talking about police brutality or talking about racial injustice, and it's just like, it's crazy how as I've gone through the year I'm working on this album, how like America just continues to like validate it for some reason, you know what I mean? Every time I think something is like, oh, we don't have to worry about that, and then boom, that happens. I think especially with quarantine, it's like you're saying, like there were no distractions, you know. There was like no way for us to collectively, I don't know, release that trauma, you know what I mean? Usually when something like that happens, I have a community of people I want to be with. I don't want to engage with things like on a very like intellectual level. I'm just really just trying to like hang out, vibe with the ancestors for a little bit, and you can't even do that, you know. And so I think that's what's going to bring everybody out to the streets, and especially to the like, you know, it was just like back and forth. Like even a global pandemic can't stop racism, you know. So like I think, you know, I think the artist has like a twofold path, you know. I mean, it's like A, to like, you know, to be the scribe, to transcribe what's happening in the times, you know what I mean? Like, you know, and paint that vivid picture and make it accessible, you know what I mean? Like we all can't be out here reading like critical race theory, just because like, you know, that's dense work. We ain't got the time, you know. But when KRS-One like hits a verse, you know what I mean? When Kendrick Lamar hits a verse, you know, like it just transcends that and like talks to people on a very personal level. And then I think the other path is to like see what's going on now, and then what can we predict for the future? What kind of world can we build without these things? And that's what I'm like, you know, that kind of unyielding optimism. I feel like, you know, I really jam with, I really bump with Sun Ra. And some of his stuff was just like out of this world. He was just like, we do not exist in this human form. We should be out on another planet. You know what I mean? You know, I mean, I think it's like the normal plug, you know, I mean, the scathing Empire Shake dropped today, October 6th, you know. I got another single dropping later on this month, then the album drops. So check that out. It's called The cops that killed Breonna Taylor are still free, so maybe we should sit that with that on our conscience, America. And you know, get out there and vote. If you don't believe in voting, do some real action within your community. Just because, like, you know, I think in this project, times are strange, and they're only going to get stranger. Global warming is next up on the radar. You know what I mean? And this is the moment where humanity, we can come together or we can crumble. So you choose. You know, I think we all have that choice. So yeah, thank you so much.